My comments earlier, I guess I'll repeat them. I don't think we can delegate the dysfunction of this board, correction of that, to the administration. It's our responsibility. And we haven't done anything to address that. We need to. I'm not sure how we can do that, but we need to do that and not try and place it on the shoulders of the administration to correct our deficiencies. The deficiencies were outlined in the report from the accreditation people, and quite frankly, they've been outlined in the letters of no confidence from the faculty and staff. And I find it puzzling that we would even suggest that we can correct our problems by delegating it to somebody else. So I think we need to shoulder the responsibility, get together and try and correct our problems without, quite frankly, the intervention of anybody else.
You know, that's all well and fine, and especially if you like what's written or you support it, which you have stated publicly on several occasions. And I've even heard trustees up here advocate their fiduciary responsibility and their concern for the college by saying, we need to be put on probation. We need to be suspended. We need to be this. Oh my gosh, that's like a military saying we might as well shoot ourselves. I don't understand the mindset there at all. And, you know, thank you, God bless Tony Stewart for writing that, and for the NWCCU to adopt it and put their name on it, and for all the things that have been written that I'm sure you are pleased with and Trustee Wood are pleased with. But you know what, I'm going to wait for their letter of action, and then I guess we'll decide what we actually need to do, and we'll address that as appropriate, because that's going to tell us what our course of action needs to be at that time and how we need to respond. So this whole crisis that has been manufactured from 2.5 years ago, and here we still are. Some of you are trying to get, I guess, what you want, but it's a strange way to go about it. And I've said that before. I've never heard of hurting yourself to win. But
Chair Banducci.
Trustee McKenzie.
I guess to build a shred of credibility on the other side of this table is I would like to hear the other trustees acknowledge that you are chair of this board, because I've directly asked another trustee, of Trustee Wood, to let you be chair during meetings, and she's flat out said no. So to initiate our governance improvement process, I would like to at least hear that acknowledgement.
Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to acknowledge that you're the chair, but I'm also acknowledged that I think you should resign.
Well, you've made that abundantly clear. I'm sure we have a mutual respect for one another at this time. So be that as it may, we are.
Just let it be noted that there's crickets from the other board member.
Well, I generally don't like to respond to Trustee McKenzie because it's always adversary, but I agree with Trustee Howard.
Of course you do. Nothing less expected. And there we are. See, here's the challenge of that. If you disagree, it's for the cause and it's all good, or Ken disagrees. But if I disagree or Greg disagrees, we're wrong, or we're villains, or we're extremists, or we can be denigrated and disrespected. I don't understand how that can be, because there's 4 people which are going to have 4 opinions. So if these 2 disagree, it's okay. If these 2 disagree, well, there's something wrong with them. We're dysfunctional. We're whatever. It's a very interesting dichotomy and a real hypocrisy about that. So I just point that out. I don't want to say that you're wrong because you disagree with me, but in the same vein, don't say that I'm wrong because I disagree with you. Well, and I'm not bad.
Chair Banducci,
and you're not good, or vice versa.
Mr. Chair, what I would say is that there's an
next
independent report.
Trustee McKenzie.
Chair Banducci, what I see the problem here is the acceptance of opposing viewpoints being accepted on this campus. If the community here at NIC remains unwilling to foster an environment where opposing viewpoints are respected, then that's on the electorate to fix the toxic environment, and I am confident a solution will present itself. The community is aware of board problems, and I believe aims to resolve this problem in November. No wonder accreditation has NIC under a microscope, because academic freedom demands opposing viewpoints being accepted and presented.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned that about the community. It appears that people through this process have done a very fine job of splitting the community. And to your point, I guess we will have the community's voice. Ironically, some have tried to take that voice away from the community through some legislation, through some backdoor work with the State Board of Education, some legislation that was tried to be put through the House, run through the State Affairs Committee with community colleges not knowing about it. College of Eastern Idaho found out about it. College of Southern Idaho found out about it, opposed it. Their legislators opposed it. North Idaho legislators, I can count for all of them except for the House, except for Rep. Amador, got behind it. And Mr. Cheney, who was carrying that legislation out of Nampa, ended up making several amendments. Now, after making the amendments and making it so that the other community colleges thought it was okay, remembering that none of them had been contacted before this legislation that impacted them, which was going to change the vote, how the votes went, whether it was zones or the entire county, appointments by the SBOE of trustees, if there were resignations or if we fell below a quorum. Very, very significant items regarding the operations of a community college that would have taken it out of the hands of voters. Did get through the House 62-8. But then instead of going through because it should have probably been through the House Education Committee, but they took it to the House State Affairs. Then they bring it to the Senate. Instead of doing it through the Senate State Affairs, then they brought it back to the Senate Education, which there's a gentleman in there, Senator Woodward, and there's others, and Senator Getty's been working behind the scenes, making calls and writing letters. And the first time I meet Senator Woodward is when we're down there and we get done briefing the Senate Education Committee.
Mr. Chair, point of order, please.
No, sir.
Yes, point of order, Robert Rules of Order.
Introduces himself as Ken Howard's best friend, great friend. Well, they're on the committee and they put it in the drawer.
Mr. Chairman, we're under Robert's Rules of Order.
Legislatively, so they killed the legislation. They didn't get it. Hey, it's my turn. We all get a turn. Okay, would you please escort her out if she's going to have help us, please? This is not crowd participation. Sherry, you should know better. You've done this multiple times.
You cannot.
You embarrass yourself.
Todd.
You do not speak out.
Please continue, Todd.
So my point is, there's a lot of things going on, legislation just being one example, right to these very things about leadership, accreditation. This is all part of a large mosaic of the things that have been going on from those that see the potential loss of power. They see a certain timeline, and this is the way they go. It's not about ideas. It's not debating ideas. It's not about academic fairness. It's not about what is the vote for policies. It's not about what are we doing for programs or athletics or building a building. It's no, we have to go to the national level. We have to do cancel politics. We do, politics of personal destruction. It's amazing the things that are being done. And North Idaho isn't like that. People don't cotton to negative campaigning. We don't have cancel culture. We don't character assassinate. That's what this has become. And that's it. That's because there's no ideas to debate. Facts. And it's very unfortunate, but here we are. And this is what's devolved down to this.
Mr. Chair, in all of that discussion, you've left out that there was an independent peer review panel by our accreditation commission that validated all the complaints. And we are now on the verge of maybe being put on probation, or we could lose accreditation. So to sit there and suggest that you've been unfairly maligned, that you're the victim.
Did I say me at any
An
point there?
independent panel is telling us we have to make changes. It can't be personal. You have to get on board with the board, follow policy, follow procedure, follow law. That is what the peer review panel is telling us.
Okay, well, thank you, Trustee Wood. Okay, is there anything else on accreditation, President Sabali?
I have nothing else.
All right, thank you.